Welcome to Revlog, where this week Brian is a nautical expert.
Yes.
He's gonna teach us about sailing in the Mediterranean.
My sextant is over here somewhere to navigate.
Aaron, you know anything about boating?
Nope.
Sailing?
Nope.
I have no clue either.
You like the song from Christopher Cross, don't you?
Sailing, take me away. Yeah.
I have no clue either. But I do know I would want Jesus in the boat
Amen.
with me.
There you go.
Yeah.
If I was
Jesus
gonna
take the
sail.
rudder. I don't think that's the same.
That was the first iteration.
Yeah.
We can do better than this, guys. Come on.
But no, let's get into this text.
Yeah.
So disciples, they're with Jesus. After a long day, they get into a boat. So Aaron, what's your initial reaction here to this text?
Let me tell you a story about my brother Adam. Adam, 7 years younger than me, and he's more athletic than I was. So he played for Dad and
Basketball.
But I feel like Adam was the quintessential fair weather fan. So he could be sitting on the bench, and the minute we start going, losing, he would have traded Mom for, another. It just, you talk a big game until you start losing, and then he's like,
Give up.
Just give up.
Yeah.
And I feel, there are lots of examples of those fair weather fans, in lots of sports, and But I feel like the disciples right here, like the second something starts to go crossways with what they know, they all of a sudden everything goes out the window. Yeah. Their first reaction is not, "Hey, it'll be okay. Let's get Jesus." It's it's doom and gloom.
Yeah.
It's such an extreme reaction rather than a measured one, like we have seen. Let's take all of the things that Jesus has done for us that we have seen him do, and measure that against the current situation, and then make a rational, logical, thoughtful. Nope. The minute that water starts getting in the boat, it is, we are going to die. This is all going to be awful. And it's just such an extreme
When they
reaction.
question Jesus, like, why don't you care about us?
Yeah,
Right.
like it's all, and like nothing that I've done before matters, like
Right.
in this moment. And I think that is so telling of us that we, in those extreme situations, we don't often give that depth of consideration. Right. It's just that momentary, all is lost, the sky is falling, and it's kind of a sad state of really who we are.
Yeah, amen. Yeah, it's exactly right. Brian, what's your initial reaction here?
There are so many things going on here, and it is. I have not experienced, of course, this kind of scenario, but I have experienced many times somebody that I do not perceive is as emotionally escalated about something as I am, and I need that person. I feel the need for that person to match my own state of emotional excitation.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like there's a counselor coming out here. I feel like there's
I'm really trying to take that hat off, because I really it is very distressing when somebody else doesn't seem to care as much as I do, because
Which is their accusation. Like, don't you care?
Right, don't you care? That is their accusation. Because, and I think it is, I really believe that it is because if they don't match me here, then there is no way that we're going to get to the safe side of things. It's going to be perpetual danger, all the way down. And I think that something like that may be happening here. There may be other things going on too. The don't you care, I only say this to people who I experience as very caring about me. And I don't say, to you, don't you care, Chris? I know that we have a cordial friendship and all that, but it is people who, like my wife or, family members, don't you see this?
Yeah.
And what I think I'm trying to say is I need you to help me here because I am out of my depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes out in that way
Right.
because that's such a provocative way to try to get somebody's attention. You hit them at the place of love, and concern. Don't you care?
And it also, we assume that our reaction is the one that is valid. That,
Of
that
course.
our,
Yeah,
our
yeah.
extreme reaction and you're not being there is distressing. It's concerning, and so we feel like we need to ratchet that person up
Yes.
to get there. So then we can address the issue rather than assuming maybe perhaps I'm.
Right.
Overreacting,
And,
right,
and
yeah.
Jesus, exactly, Aaron, that's exactly right. And Jesus says, he doesn't counter that by saying, of course, I do care. I care. He doesn't defend that because that's not really where all that's going. He sees the fear there. And then he says, I see that you're afraid. Why are you still afraid? But the question isn't, why are you afraid? That's really dumb. That's not the sense of that. It is, I am here. I'm with you. And faith, I'm looking for the faith here.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that?
Yeah.
Where is that? Where is your faith? And what he's doing, what Jesus is doing, is he's expanding their experience of Jesus
Yeah.
beyond certain domains. I mean, first they experience him as this man who dispenses these enigmatic sayings, and then they experience him as someone who is really observant, there are many things. And here they're experiencing him as someone who is really not afraid of the universe, of acts of God, as insurance companies call them, or whatever. He's not living as if the universe is out to get him.
Yeah.
And they're amazed by this, but he is expanding their knowledge of just who he is and how he operates.
Well, and the last verse, it says they became afraid of him, right? So then the wind and waves calm and
Exactly.
their fear
Coming and
shifts.
going.
Yeah. That's right. Aaron, what question do you have of this text?
Is the depth of my faith predicated on my comfort?
That's right.
If something arises that is distressing, do I throw up my hands or do I rely on the faithfulness of God and remember He has been present all the way through? But is it predicated on my comfort?
Yeah. Amen. Great question.
Yeah.
Brian, what question do you have of the text?
Who is Jesus in this circumstance or that circumstance? Who is Jesus? I really think that for me, that is something that I'm going to have to wrestle with.
Who do you say He is?
Well, that's a great question. It ought to be in the Bible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and he does. I mean, I liked where you put it earlier. There's these different moments of revelation for the disciples, and this sort of reveals him in that creator role.
Yes.
That he's the one who created these things. He controls them.
Yeah.
He oversees them. And I love the way you put it earlier. I mean, this was kind of their first exposure to that. Right? They're
I
just
think it was,
learning
yeah.
this in these initial chunks, and it has to be difficult for them to work through that.
Yeah. It's really iterative, for them and heuristic. I mean, they're just learning this as they go.
Yeah. Amen. And we'd love to hear your thoughts on this text if you'd comment below.